The 2-minute drill. All right, 2-minute drill time. Wrapping up the podcast for the week. We are doing a little mid-season check-in on the Traitors Season 4 as we are about halfway through the eliminations, and we have two Traitors still standing as recording time. Joining me today to break it down, the great Alan Austin is here. Alan, how are you?
Oh, Mike, what a humbling introduction. Thank you so much. I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. Having fun with this season so far. I think there are some hits and some misses, but I feel like overall, it's been a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the show kind of feels like it's been set in amber. You know what you're getting every week. There's nothing really out of the ordinary that they've pulled. It's the same formula: murder, challenge, roundtable, and I kind of get the Gen Pops feel of the snooze fest that is the challenges, because why do we care as audience members how much celebrities could possibly win at the end? The show lives and dies with the round table, and that is worth the price of admission. And I feel like that's where we're at this season as well. I think there's been a little bit of overhype on this season generally. I know Alan Cumming was touting that last episode was going to have the juiciest moment ever, and albeit a good scene at the banquet, I think it was a little overhyped, but I think overall, like you said, we're getting a good season.
Yeah, I think the Black Banquet was fun. Definitely overhyped for sure, because he basically describes the greatest scene to ever happen in the history of the show, which I know people who watch the international version would probably disagree with that vehemently, but it was still fun.
Yes, and maybe it's a victim of editing, where some of the stuff he may have saw or seen or the way it played out live felt different. So I'll give him that. I'm not mad at the guy. It was just not everything it was hyped up to be. But again, a good scene.
Yeah, I think a good scene here. So let's talk a little bit about this season so far. Obviously, we broke the meta of the gamers being in the turret this year. We had two housewives, Lisa and Candace. We had Rob Roush from Love Island. We'll get to the secret traitor thing in a minute, but for the concept of the turret here, I think this is a needed change for the show, and for until about last week, they worked pretty well together.
They did, and I will say it looked like they were going to run the game pretty steadily until the last episode. So we're set up for a final run here that should be quite interesting. But it was a nice mix, and to not include the gamers was quite a surprise. But so far, so good.
I think for the health of the show, you need to do that, because at some point it becomes too obvious. Even Michael Rappaport, I think the first episode is yeah, there's 5 you gamers out here. One of you in the turret. That's what history says. 5 you housewives, one of you in the turret. So I think if Michael Rappaport's catching on, I think the show does need to change it up a little bit.
Agreed. And any change like that is welcome, because you want to leave people guessing, not people, us, because we know the Traitors, but the contestants can never know there's a solid strategy by the producers in place. So it's a good red herring to do this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had a fourth traitor, which was the secret traitor, which is not revealed to us, the audience, at the beginning of the show. That twist is done by Premier, because Donna Kelsey was given the secret traitor power, and she was basically eliminated pretty quickly because she was bad at it. But I think whether or not we agree, we knew going in that you and I both had a reasonable suspicion that they would make Donna a traitor in some form to give themselves a chance to keep her in the house as long as they could. But I think the mechanic of the twist itself is a bit problematic, because I think the secret traitor power, where basically they give the main 3 a short list every week, is not ideal. I think that's not creating fun in the turret, where you're basically saying well, wait, why am I picking from these 4? Where I think it would be more fun if you flip the dynamic on its head, where the traitors come up with a short list. They have to set it down to the secret traitor and see who that gets murdered. Well, you have big intrigue for them at the morning breakfast every week.
Agreed. It'd be better if it was flipped, like you're saying. I also think giving it to Donna was a little unfair to her. She's a noob to reality TV. She's not really the type who's going to play the game the way a secret traitor would. If you're going to give it to Donna, if you're going to make her a traitor, put her with the group. Let her work with the team. Let her become one of the turret members. I think you kind of lose. I think it would be more fun if you're going to make her a traitor, letting her take the hood off, letting her talk to the others, letting letting that be the moment rather than this big secret twist of the person who, I'm not discrediting her. I'm just saying you're asking a lot of her in a role she's never been in before. Whereas you make if you're going to do the secret traitor and you do make that person a gamer, okay, that's a little bit more understanding. But I don't know. I agree with you that it was not handled the best, and the flip of the roles would have been better.
Yeah, I agree.
Or the responsibilities of the role.
I think even if you didn't put a gamer in that role, even if you kept these four in here and you flipped her with, say, Candace, whereas she has, maybe Lisa and Rob and her with her and coach her through things, where it was they were helping each other saying, hey, I heard this, did you do this? You got to be more of this. I think if Donna has coaching, I think she's more equipped to do this when she's basically left to her own devices.
Agreed. And then there's no way that the remaining traitors can help defend her because they don't know to defend her. They don't know how to throw the scent off her because they think in their minds they're getting rid of a faithful, so they're going to be gung-ho about it. So if you leave her with the group, Rob's and the other traitors may be coming to her defense a little bit more, but you didn't have that in the back pocket.
Yeah, we did not here. So obviously we have some fun stuff going on this season here. Obviously, you have the Black Banquet. You have the conga line. There's a lot of crazy moments here. What's been your favorite moment of the season so far?
I mean, Rob throwing Lisa under the bus at the last elimination, at the last round table, was really good television. In fact, it was a better scene than the banquet, in my opinion. I will say that stands out. The Donna reveal was a great moment because none of us knew what the answer was going to be. Those are two moments that really stuck out for me so far, and it's a really good cast of characters this year. Yeah. I also enjoyed the one moment when I forget the woman's name, the housewife from Dubai.
Caroline.
Caroline, when she said, "I'll see you at BravoCon," and Lisa replied, "No, you won't." Really funny.
Yeah, her murder was hilarious. Because I love when she pulls the blindfold. It's like, "Renna, you bitch."
Yes, fantastic, really great.
Yeah, that was a great line, great moment here. I also will throw out as a fan of his podcast and watching him back in the day from Survivor of the Amazon, watching Rob C clock the murder in plain sight was so fun, and seeing that was a really amazing gameplay.
It really was, and I'm sad that his death card got pulled too soon because he is somebody that really went in trying to play, and it seems as though he played a little too hard too fast, which was his greatest flaw. But watching him stick around a little bit longer would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he was also a victim of the mechanics of the secret traitor twist, where I think if there's they're playing, I think that round, I think it was only 3 people had shields, if I remember correctly. I think it was Colton, Jam, I forget I think Lisa got one. But whoever, I think if the whole board's available as opposed to just 4, I think there's a better chance he slips through the cracks. Remember, we watched this. Candace doesn't relay to the group that Rob is on them until after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So I think that was certainly some fun here. What do you think about round 2 for Dorinda here? Because I feel compared to what we were promised, I don't know if it's been as exciting as I thought it would be.
No, it totally feels as though her reputation on Housewives or as friends with Andy or with certain producers is what kept her afloat. But the payoff hasn't been there. And honestly, the biggest takeaway of her appearance this season is that she may or may not have been really awful to Ron Funches behind the scenes, which we may hear about in the future. We may not. So I would say overall it's been a underwhelming showing in round 2 for Dorinda.
The thing I feel with Dorinda is I feel Dorinda, took to heart why she got murdered last season. I know Bob basically said, Bob the drag queen basically Dorinda annoyed us and we wanted to get rid of her. So I feel she's playing the game better, which is worse for our entertainment value.
That's fair, but in terms of audience entertainment and this whole Dorinda's back, it's not been anything to write home about.
No, and I do feel if we get this, bring somebody back immediately again, I'm on the card here, give me the Rob C return if he's clocking murders in plain sight and seeing what he can do when he has a little more rope,
and make him a traitor.
That'd be fun also.
Yeah. I'd be down for that. And, as a Big Brother fan, of course, I'm sad that we saw the early demises of Ian and Tiffany. I really enjoyed my wife as well, really enjoyed Tiffany this year on the show. We were rooting hard for her, and she just became a victim of the flavor of the week of the blaming finger. But she, I thought, was playing a pretty good game until they just decided to get rid of her. So I'd be down for a Tiffany return as well.
Yeah, like we need an all-star season. Probably not next year. I would say probably like by like Traitors 6 or 7, they're going to probably do like an all-star to bring all their favorite people back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of some other characters from this season here, like who was popped to you? Because I feel like the problem we run into, I think the last like 2 seasons specifically, is that like we're losing a lot of the exciting people early, and then like the so-called what do you call average, like the more average members of the cast in terms of personality are getting further in the game, which is, I think, going to hurt us entertainment wise down the stretch a little bit.
Yeah, last year we were saved because Gabby, as the season went on, really became a fan favorite and got to shine as some of the other personalities started to dwindle. So I guess what we're looking for is who's this year's Gabby? Who's the contestant this year that when some of the other bigger personalities are out, they're going to shine? Maybe that's where Johnny Weir really finds his groove on this show. We shall see. But right now, there's just so many people that maybe they'll have one confessional a week. The Mark Ballas's, the Stephen Coletti's, the Tara Lipinski's, who are just kind of, to borrow a Big Brother term, floating. You know what I mean? So I think in the next couple weeks, there's not many weeks left, but we'll see if anyone really starts to shine and take the spotlight.
Yeah, I can't say like I'm like too shocked by some people who are basically coming off the way they are on the edit. I think like I thought we would have a lot more Johnny Weir than we've had so far. I feel like he's been very quiet compared to what you would expect from him, considering how like animated he is when he's on the Olympic broadcasts.
Yeah, and again, that just might be a case of the editors working with what they've got, because they still have to construct a narrative based on the footage. But Mike, they filmed this thing, May of 2025? They've had plenty of time to get the correct narratives, and I know they can't really do reshoots, but it might be a case of them working with what they've got.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a good portion of the audience that has not been thrilled that like 2 of our main faithful characters were Michael Rappaport and Colton.
2 real big heels this season.
Yeah. And and I'm telling you, like, Andy Cohen's got his work cut out for this reunion show, because there's a lot of mess he's gonna have to sort through here. And I know there's rumblings Michael Rappaport might not go to the reunion, which obviously that's his own situation, but like now you have the beef with Lisa and Colton. There's buzz about Colton potentially like being like, obviously with his past, his legal situation, he can't comment on certain things that Lisa's bringing up. So like, poor Andy Cohen here.
Well, you play with fire, you might get burned. You know, there's background checks and stuff for a reason. So if you can't handle the heat, don't put them in the kitchen. It's been a lot of kind of iffy and bad publicity around the show, but for the most part, it doesn't seem to be ruining the product, which is a relief.
Yeah, I think they've gotten lucky. I feel like a couple of those cast choices were questionable this year.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. In terms of like, right now, I feel like we're set up for this traitor civil war now between Rob and Candace. And we saw that last episode, Rob with like basically makes this little pact with the Dagger 6, where like he has the group, I think it was like Natalie, Eric, Steven, I think Mark and Colton, I think are all out there with him. And he's like, hey, like we're working together, protect each other here. So I feel like Rob's in a great spot. Like I know Candace tried to take a shot across how she voted for him at the last round table, but I feel like if we're looking at a Rob and Candace war, Rob's winning.
I would say so too. I mean, Rob has to hope that his alliance believes that Candace only threw his name under out of revenge for Lisa, rather than trying to double stab him in the back out of revenge. Because the suspicion will grow, well, maybe she was doing it to him because he was one too. He's got to be able to have the cult of personality and convince people she just did that because she was defending Lisa. She was angry. So once Candace gets got, because I feel like that day is coming, it will be how they react to Rob, his defense, and who he will recruit to team up with him, which will be interesting.
Yeah, I think Rob's in a tricky spot with that. I think it's his biggest obstacle to navigate here, because I think if he kind of has to choose between, would I leave Candace in try and mend the fence there and just like hope that like I could salvage something here because I have numbers. But like, I think if she goes after him the next round table is bad as a traitor, then I think they immediately look at Rob and say, oh, wait, 2 traitors in a row threw a finger at you. So
that's the problem. He's got to have some sway.
Yeah.
But to think about it, I think right now, just based on the last episode alone, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a faithful win.
Yeah, you think that this was the end of the traitor win here?
Yes, I think the cat is out of the bag. The traitors are silly. This was Rob's bad gameplay. Was you keep as many as you can till the end. Like throwing each other under the bus early because you're trying to look like a hero is not always the smartest strategy. It never works out really.
Yeah, I think Rob's in a tough spot because he looked at the turret competition and said, okay, there's 2 housewives in here. There's one of me. At some point, they're going to turn on me, and I have an opportunity to flush Lisa out of here. Because I think the problem was he publicly led the charge for it, which I think sort of was his spot where Colton's like, I can't do this. You got to do it, bro. So,
right, and there is a way to do that a little more seamless where you are not leading the charge and you're kind of pinned and you have to be like, I'm sorry. Are you okay with me voting you if it comes down to it? And then you build good faith and then you don't have Candace's throwing you under the bus. But you're right, he did lead the charge.
Yeah, because it's tricky. Because, I mean, like, prior to that vote, I don't think there was any sus on him ever in the castle anywhere about him being a traitor.
Agreed.
Yeah. I do think, like, obviously, like, even if we do end up with a faithful win, let's not do last year again where, like, we get to the fire and all 4 of them just agree to end the game at once.
Yeah, that was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, you could tell last year, too, Alan was so disappointed when there was no, like, backstabbing at the fire of truth.
Oh, because, I mean, the year before, you had the Trishelle and CT memorable backstab of MJ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably, I think, the icon. Like, I think it's one of the 2 iconic moments of the end game. And that and the season 1 reveal.
Oh, yeah, with Sari?
Yeah. Sari's still setting the master example of how to play the traitor game. And right now, it looks like she might be the only traitor still to win in this edition of the show.
I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah. And it's funny, I think you saw, like, you got to Sari Big Brother after Sari Traitors. So, like, that was definitely something to see her operate.
Yes, it was interesting. And we could talk about that on another day, but it was not the same Sari, but again, much different game.
Yeah, and speaking of different games, like Sari's back on TV again in a few weeks on Survivor 50. I know you said you're thinking about it because one Mike White's doing it again. Would you check that out?
I'm not going to commit, but I am going to intend on checking it out.
Yeah, I think you would have some fun because I think Mike White might be there for a minute.
I'm gonna do my best, but I won't be able to commit. With a toddler running around, it is tough to find all the hours to watch these shows. So we will see, but I am intending on giving it a shot.
Well, the good thing is it's not Big Brother. It's 3 times a week. It's only once a week.
Fair point.
Yeah. All right, Alan, thank you for all the time. I really appreciate it. People follow you on social media. How can I do that?
Mike, the fans out there can follow me at Alan Austin Sports on Instagram.
All right, Alan, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.